What if your mother held your life literally in her hands? What if a single moment of rage could destroy everything she'd spent years protecting? In the shadowy realm of Greek mythology, where gods meddle in mortal affairs and fate weaves its inescapable web, such impossible scenarios become terrifyingly real. Today, we dive into one of mythology's most heart-wrenching tales of family, prophecy, and revenge. This is the story of Meleager and Althea, where maternal love transforms into deadly vengeance, and a burning log becomes the thread between life and death. Ancient Greece was a world where divine intervention shaped human destiny. The Greeks believed that three sisters, the Fates, controlled every mortal's lifespan. Clotho spun the thread of life, Lachesis measured its length, and Atropos cut it with her terrible shears. But sometimes, the gods offered mortals a choice in how their fate would unfold. Our story begins in Calydon, a prosperous kingdom in ancient Greece, ruled by King Oeneus and Queen Althea. When their son Meleager was born, something extraordinary happened. The three Fates appeared in the royal chamber, their ancient faces illuminated by flickering torchlight. Clotho, the spinner, spoke first. She revealed that the newborn prince would grow to become the greatest hero of his generation, renowned throughout Greece for his courage and skill. Lachesis, the measurer, added that he would lead mighty expeditions and earn eternal glory. But then Atropos, the cutter, delivered a chilling prophecy that would haunt the family forever. Pointing to a log burning in the fireplace, she declared that Meleager's life was tied to that piece of wood. As long as it remained unburned, he would live. But the moment it was consumed by flames, his life would end. Althea, driven by fierce maternal instinct, immediately snatched the log from the fire. She extinguished the flames and hid it away in a chest, becoming the guardian of her son's life. This magical firebrand, known as the life brand, represented both her power to protect him and the terrible responsibility that came with it. Years passed, and the prophecy's first part proved true. Meleager grew into a magnificent warrior, strong and brave beyond measure. He joined Jason and the Argonauts in their quest for the Golden Fleece, proving his worth alongside Greece's greatest heroes. His fame spread across the ancient world, and his parents watched with pride as their son fulfilled his destined greatness. But Meleager's greatest test came when the Caledonian boar ravaged his homeland. This wasn't just any wild animal. It was a monstrous creature sent by Artemis, goddess of the hunt, to punish King Oeneus for forgetting to honor her in his harvest sacrifices. The boar was enormous, with tusks like ivory spears and eyes that burned with divine fury. Meleager organized a great hunt, inviting heroes from across Greece to join him. Among them came Atalanta, the fierce huntress who had been raised by bears and could outrun any man. She was beautiful, skilled, and utterly fearless. When Meleager saw her, he fell deeply in love. The hunt was brutal and dangerous. Many heroes fell to the boar's terrible tusks before Atalanta drew first blood with a perfectly aimed arrow. Meleager delivered the killing blow, but in a gesture of love and respect, he awarded the boar's hide to Atalanta as the prize. This decision sparked outrage among the other hunters, especially Meleager's uncles, Plexippus and Toxius, who were Althea's brothers. They couldn't accept that a woman should receive such honor, and they demanded the prize for themselves as the closest male relatives of the hunt's leader. Meleager's response was swift and fatal. Consumed by rage at the insult to his beloved Atalanta, he killed both uncles in the heat of the moment. Their blood stained the earth red, and their cries echoed across the hunting grounds as they fell to their nephew's sword. When news reached Althea that her son had killed her brothers, something broke inside her. The woman who had spent years protecting Meleager's life was suddenly consumed by grief and fury. Her maternal love curdled into burning hatred as she mourned her dead brothers. In her anguish, Althea remembered the chest hidden in her chamber. She knew exactly what power lay within her grasp. The life brand that had protected her son for so many years could now become the instrument of her revenge. With trembling hands but iron resolve, she retrieved the magical log from its hiding place. For a moment she hesitated, staring at the piece of wood that held her son's fate. But her grief was stronger than her love, and her need for vengeance overwhelmed her maternal instincts. Althea built a fire and placed the life brand among the flames. As the wood began to burn, Meleager, miles away, suddenly felt an inexplicable burning sensation in his chest. The pain grew more intense as the flames consumed more of the log. Meleager realized what was happening. The connection between his life and the burning wood became clear as agony coursed through his body. He called out for his mother, not knowing that she was the one causing his torment. His strength, legendary throughout Greece, began to ebb away like water from a broken vessel. As the last of the life brand crumbled to ash, Meleager collapsed and died. The greatest hero of his generation, the man who had slain the Caledonian boar and sailed with the Argonauts, was killed not by enemy's sword or monster's claw, but by his own mother's revenge. When Althea realized what she had done, the full weight of her actions crashed down upon her. She had murdered her own son, the child she had protected for years. The grief of losing her brothers was now compounded by the horror of matricide. Unable to live with her deed, Althea took her own life, adding another tragedy to this tale of family destruction. The story of Meleager and Althea reveals the terrible power of unchecked emotion. It shows how love can transform into hatred, how protection can become destruction, and how the bonds that hold families together can also tear them apart. This myth explores the complex nature of loyalty and revenge. Althea faced an impossible choice between her son and her brothers, and her decision destroyed them all. It demonstrates how violence begets violence, creating cycles of vengeance that consume everyone involved. The tale also reflects ancient Greek beliefs about fate and free will. While the fates determined Meleager's destiny, they left the method of his death in mortal hands. Althea had the power to preserve or destroy, making her both protector and destroyer. Throughout history, this story has inspired countless works of art and literature. Ancient Greek playwrights used it to explore themes of family conflict and divine justice. Roman poets retold it to examine the destructive power of passion. Renaissance artists painted scenes of Althea burning the fatal log, capturing the moment when love turns to vengeance. Even today, the myth resonates with modern audiences. It speaks to anyone who has felt torn between competing loyalties or watched love turn to hatred. The image of a mother destroying her child in revenge has echoed through literature from Shakespeare to contemporary fiction. The story serves as a timeless warning about the consequences of letting emotion override reason. It reminds us that our greatest strengths can become our greatest weaknesses, and that the power to protect is also the power to destroy. In the end, the tale of Meleager and Althea stands as one of mythology's most tragic examples of how family bonds, meant to provide strength and support, can become instruments of mutual destruction when poisoned by grief and rage.